not without a dance. Celebrating life with you, with everything it brings. Want you fly away, my heart, don't despair. The world is full of joy. You cry, you smile, and you dance. Over day, northeast, southwest, I can see people of the world. They cry, they smile, and they dance. Celebrating life is real, but not without a cry. Celebrating life is sweet, but not without a smile. Celebrating life is good, but not without a dance.
Hi, good evening or good morning, depending where you're watching this. I'm Tim, this is Sean. You're going to hear from us again soon, but welcome to our Champions event. We'll be starting properly soon, but to get us going, we've got one of our good friends based here in Cape Town, Christian, who's going to be opening with a song just to get you in the mood for the rest of this time together.
Yeah. If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate. If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate. My fellow Christian probably said I lost it. I told him I ain't tryna deviate. No matter what happens in line of shame, I'm working hard to be obedient. The enemy was when I saw my joy, made me think I'm never gonna make it. God behind me busy made me lazy. Talking crazy so can slow my mind. I was feeling dizzy, I was getting angry. See my world going upside down. Working hard that a singer said, letting out that a singer phrase. It will happen again, it will happen again. Cause I was created to celebrate. The joy on my face is every day. Rejoice with the Lord on me every day. Every day, every day. I can do this every day. I celebrate life every day. I can do this every day. If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate. If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate.
Yo, in the moments past I celebrate. In the midst of it I levitate, trying to penetrate those happy thoughts. Or the beat but just can't be bored. I'm sky high with those Q miles. Shortcomings but big smiles. Empty road so I lounge out, knowing the pilot's going to take the long route. I have the option so I choose joy. That real thing, no decoy. Spicy chicken, number 3 AR. That's where my homies and the homies but it's tie the knot. That real love that I speak of. So we raise the glass and we keep the faith, the thick and thin. Yeah, we celebrate.
Every day, every day. I can do this every day. I celebrate life every day. I can do this every day. Come on, here we go. If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate. If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate.
Yo, Christian Nation.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's celebrate.
Come on. Let's celebrate, y'all.
Come on, Higher Nation.
Come on, let's celebrate. Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Come on, let's celebrate with us.
Here we go.
Here we go. If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate.
Come on.
If you don't know how to do it, let me show you how. Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate.
Yeah, today's the day the Lord has made.
Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate.
Celebrate, celebrate.
Today's the day the Lord has made, let me celebrate.
Hey, welcome back. Well, welcome to Message Champion event.
Yeah,
my
welcome.
name's Tim.
And my name's Sean. And we're really blessed to be with you this evening. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that song, and I hope that you're going to be celebrating with us this evening. Yeah.
You keep saying this evening.
I know, but it could be.
It's evening here in Cape Town.
Yeah, definitely.
And but many of you are watching in different parts of the world, and specifically many of our friends in the States. So yeah, good morning to you. Hopefully you've been having some good coffee. I know there's some watch parties going on. Massive thanks to all our hosts. We hope you're tuning in. And yeah, as we said, let us know in the chat that we want to know that we're coming through live and loud and clear. And yeah, that you're going to celebrate with us today. Yeah, Sean, are you feeling like celebrating?
No, definitely. And I want to echo what you're saying, Tim. Please do let us know in the chat where you are watching from. We really want to answer some questions as well, so we're very open to you asking us anything. If you want to ask them about why you look so handsome this evening, that will also work. But thank you so much. I am excited, and I am celebrating that we get to do this, that we get to celebrate champions, and you get to be a part of that. So thank you so much.
And there's also a registration form. If you, for those of you who are part of our watch parties, we'd love to know so we can track who's been watching this, and we can keep in touch with you as well, because we've got a lot to share today about the Message Trust and the work that we're doing here in Cape Town. We lead this ministry here in Cape Town, South Africa, and throughout the course of this event, we're privileged to be able to share with you, wherever you're watching this, either live now or at a later time, just what God's doing here in Cape Town. But maybe this is your first time exposure to the Message Trust. So we've got a video and a spoken word that kind of brings out the heart of who we are as the Message. So please just enjoy this next piece.
Who are we? We're a gospel-centered art with one vision, mission. In schools, on stages, on the streets, and in prisons. We're a movement of the unashamed, untamed, unconventional, unshaken truth that is one name, Jesus. We are a kingdom community spelt one word, Eden. Might catch us in an office building 9 to 5, then in the corner of your neighborhood 5 to 9. Cause it's more than comfortable living, it's 24/7 life online. It says, I would live for this cause rather than mine. We are broken people with a united cause, an undivided love in a divided society proclaiming Jesus is Lord. More than just performances for applause, we are a community to the fractured and the poor. Where ex-drug dealers find freedom in Christ. Where suicide runs to hide, where death turns to life. When the local thief becomes the urban hero, when 100 crimes become 0. We are transformed lives, transforming lives. We are God-shaped enterprise. Where ex-prisoners and addicts find their home and become more than ever dreamed or hoped. Cause in the world saying I can't do it, we say yes you can. You can take a stand, find who you meant to be, discover your identity in the Maker's plan. Cause we won't sit back whilst a generation dies. We advance through your city proclaiming real life. We train up the next generation to effectively proclaim Christ. We are a movement of laid down lies, refusing to hide. We go beyond music and take people higher. We're not about fame or being admired. From ones and twos to venues filled with thousands, we unashamedly proclaim Jesus. This is more than a job, we are born for this. We are called to this. To every tongue, race, face, and nation, we are community transformation, equipping identity proclamation. We are conveying the gospel with word and action, transforming lives, calling the next generation to rise. We are the Message.
I always enjoy watching that video. I don't know about you, Sean. It's like that gets us pumped for what we're doing here in Cape Town. We talk about that we want to raise up urban heroes, and this is our champions event, and we're inviting you today to partner with us to raise up champions. I think the unique feature about the Message is where we uncover those champions. It's not in the normal places. Why we exist is to raise up champions from the forgotten communities, from broken backgrounds, from fatherlessness, even those incarcerated, in prison or in gangs. We believe that God has a purpose for their lives, wherever they are. So wherever you're tuning in from today, we're grateful to have you with us so that you can join us to raise up a generation who unashamedly proclaim Christ, and also from that basis make a difference in society. Now I know that some people watching, we're seeing on the chat that there's a few Cape Townians watching, but we've got people from St. Petersburg in Florida and South Florida as well, and various other places. Maybe just to give people a bit of a background about Cape Town. You're born and bred Cape Townian, Sean. What's Cape Town like, and what was it like for you growing up here in Cape Town?
Oh, thanks, Tim. So when we hear South Africa or Cape Town, we immediately tie that into Table Mountain and beautiful beaches. But that's not the reality for all. I grew up in a community that was poverty-stricken. Grew up in a community that was gang-ridden, where there were, social pleasures like drug addiction. And, growing up throughout my schooling career, I actually gave into that pleasures. I got lost in hopelessness. And that's kind of the cloud that's over majority of our communities, specifically the harder to reach communities, this cloud of hopelessness. And I gave into, that cloud. And I got caught up into drug addiction. I was addicted to drugs for many years of my life, close to 12, 13 years. But then God radically saved my life. And then my perspective changed. Instead of looking at our communities and giving into hopelessness, I now saw hopelessness as an opportunity for change. And so that's why I love what we do at the Message Trust. That has kind of been my experience. Though I'm now enjoying the beaches and enjoying Table Mountain, there was a time where it was very, very difficult difficult to stay in Cape Town, and that is still the reality for many. And so we are desiring to see that change. And so thank you for being on this call with us today, on the video with us today, because, we want to partner with all of you, to champion in Cape Town, and you're using that word beautifully, Tim. So maybe share with us, what that looks like in our context.
Yeah, I think for us, Sean embodies that really, and we talk about those who were once the problem, those caught up in addiction, those caught up in the negative cycle of gang activity and crime, but seeing their lives transformed and redeemed and turned around, and they themselves becoming leaders, and that's what we are, influencing others. It's I'm originally from the UK, and I see my task as providing a platform for emerging leaders to come through who can bring transformation for God across this city. As the Message Trust, we have a strategy around that, and it centers on what we call our 3 streams that all intersect together to provide like an ecosystem for this change to emerge. The first part of that is we call creative mission. And this is really proclaiming the gospel in language that young people can understand. So we have missions teams that goes out into schools, into communities, in prisons. They primarily use the creative arts, but we seeking to reach young people, the least, the last, and the lost, and to present with them the hope of the gospel in language that they can understand, anticipating that they will make a response. That's good. So that's the first part of what we do. The second part is a specific focus, what we call our prisons and enterprise stream. And this is working with incarcerated young people and women. And we work with them in prison, but specifically looking what we call the through care upon release from prison and reintegration, to provide a discipleship environment for them to be able to continue to grow in their faith and become productive members of society. So much so that we even provide a first job opportunity. We're in our headquarters here in Cape Town, and just down that corridor there, we have I pointed to it, but I know you can't see it. There's a corridor down there that goes to Gang Star Cafe. And it's a cafe that celebrates redemptive stories of people that gang was their past, Star is their future, and it provides a first job opportunity for previously incarcerated youth at risk. So that's why, for those of you having watch parties, you're enjoying a great cup of coffee, because we love to brew coffee here, and we've got some amazing baristas who tell their stories of hope right here in our coffee shop. So that was the second main emphasis that we have. And the third one is our community transformation stream, or our community hubs. And whereas with the prisons and enterprise, we're working with young people in their rehabilitation, our community hubs are working with school children and teenagers seeking to provide an intervention before they go into gangs, before they go into crime, in a safe environment for them to again find Christ, but also then be equipped for life and given opportunity. And those are the champions. We're going to share more about those later on, but this specific strategy around our community hubs is something that we're going to invite you to journey with us on. But those 3 things together, creative mission, prisons and enterprise, and community transformation, that's the environment, the strategy through which we raise these leaders, through which we raise these champions.
So speaking about champions, thanks for sharing them. The next video we want to show you is a young gentleman, who was once caught up in the cycle of gangsterism, of drug addiction, of even the prison cycle, and God radically changed his life. So here's the story of Clint. Enjoy.
I grew up in the Athlone area, in a place called Vanguard Estate. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. When I say this, I mean my mother and my father was there, but my father wasn't an active father at the time due to he also suffered from substance abuse. He was a very violent man. He wasn't very supportive. He wasn't there when I played soccer matches. He never walked with me to school, and those are the things that you need as a young man growing up, because those are the things that affirms you, it gives you a sense of belonging, and you know that you feel loved when your father is there for you. Due to the abuse that happened at home, where he beats my mother mother up. It caused a lot of anxiety inside of me, and when I went to school I started stuttering. I couldn't speak properly. Children started to make fun of me, and this was my journey through school. Because of all those things, it built lots of anger inside of me. Always feeling like I needed to belong to something. I needed approval from someone. I started, thoughts came in my mind about joining a gang, and that thought became a reality. While being in the gang, I realized, yeah, you need recognition, you need to do things to get status, and quickly I attained those things. And then suddenly I realized that life, what I was seeking there, I never found it. While I was doing all these crazy things, involved in a lot of things that are not good, I've kind of realized that what I was searching for, I couldn't find it here. What I also saw, that my peers around me were also hurt young people, doing things, looking for attention, but also they were also looking for a way out, but they were too scared to come and say that we thought and we were indoctrinated that there's only one way in and there's one way out, and that is death. So being in prison, laying alone in bed at night, realizing, reflecting back on the day, I kind of quickly realized that this is not the life I wanted to live, but how do I get out? And that was the question that went daily through my head, and I quickly realized that this isn't what I wanted. It was empty, there was nothing, there was no substance in it, and I just knew that I didn't want this life, until one day I started speaking to people, asking people to pray for me, and suddenly conviction came upon my life and something drastic happened. The day I found Jesus was that void that was inside of me, that void was filled, and that my whole life just changed around. Yes, it's been challenging, but God has really been moving in my life and showing me who I am, why it is I went through those things, and I actually realized that my hurt has a purpose, and because of my story I'm able to encourage young people that are going through something similar. Today I have an opportunity to speak to young children, to go to schools, to share my story with them, to work in broken communities such as Parkwood, and that's really my passion, because I understand how gangsterism is birthed. I understand what rejected boys go through. I can kind of relate why they're doing the things they're doing, because I believe that there's a root cause to everything. It's not just boys smoking drugs, boys joining gangs. It's because there's a root cause, and for us to really eradicate gangsterism, we need to get to that root cause and find out what the real problem is and pull it out. Yeah.
Sure, that's Clint's story. And I think that epitomizes for us what we're talking about here in terms of what it means to be a champion, doesn't it, Sean? And we're going to hear a little bit later again from Clint. I mean, I think in some ways that was summarizing his before story, the things that, how Christ worked in his life. But there's a now story for Clint as well, because he's raising up champions at our community hubs across Cape Town as well, and we're seeing that replication. Because I think that's one of the things we really want to see is for us, a champion for Christ is someone who is reproducing, impacting others, and creating that ripple effect. So we're gonna change track a little bit now, Sean. You're going to introduce some of our special guests, but the reason we asked these special guests to join us is because they've actually seen the work on the ground as well. So we're excited for this. Sean, would you like to introduce our very special guest?
I'm going to be reading this so that I do justice to it. But James McKnight, he's a native of Apopka, Florida. He was saved at the early age of 12. James attended Apopka High School, where he lettered in football, basketball, and track. James attended Liberty University, where he graduated in 1999 with a degree in criminal justice. James was an outstanding athlete at Liberty, where he earned an induction into the Liberty Hall of Fame for football, track, and field. And James signed as an undrafted free agent to play in the NFL. So this is a great guy. He played NFL. And so James played for the Seattle Seahawks, for Dallas Cowboys, for Miami Dolphins, and for the New York Giants. He's also married to what he said earlier when we spoke to him on the call, his beautiful wife Audrey, and she's a native of Washington, D.C. As a preacher kid, she was cultivated in the church and saved at the early age of six. Audrey knew from a young age God had a calling on her life, and she overcame many obstacles that led her to the desire of studying and gaining a deeper understanding of the Lord's Word. She attended Liberty University and received a Master of Business Administration and a Master of Religious Education. Now, Audrey and her husband James, they are proud parents of 6 multi-talented children.
Well done, Sean. Well done. You got through that. And maybe James, just tell us the pronunciation of Apopka. Did he get that right?
Yes, that's all good.
Ah, great. We're worried about that one. Well, welcome, James and Audrey. It's great to see you again, to have you on this call. It's a few years since I saw you in person, but we're just so grateful that you've tracked the journey of the message. Now, obviously, our viewers, people watching, tuning in, will be like, okay, they're married, but why have we got them in a split screen here? Maybe Audrey, you'd better explain why you're not sat next to your husband right now, and maybe just give a little bit more background of your family and as well for us.
Sure. Thank you so much, Tim and Sean, for allowing me to share this afternoon. I'm actually in San Diego, California, attending a friend's son's funeral. So unfortunate, but I'm here, and I'm just happy to be able to share with you all what God has laid on my heart and my spiritual journey. So I grew up in Washington, D.C., born and raised. I am a PK, preacher's kid. I grew up in the church, and so naturally I gained a desire to follow Christ through just following my parents and being in church every Sunday and pretty much 5 days of the week being in church. But of course, we know that we can't live off of our parents' walk. We have to have our own. So as I grew closer to Christ, God put in me a desire to reach out to people. And this is where that desire came for me going to Cape Town. We all have the calling on our lives to go into the world and preach the gospel and baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I started my ministry in my own church, working with young people. They weren't challenged youth. It was just me leading the young people through our worship ministry, through outreach in different cities and states around me, mainly New York. We had a collaboration with a group of young people out there. We did a young adults conference, which went really well. So I just had a love for reaching out to people, but this love transpired past the borders of the U.S. as I got older. But I never had that opportunity, being young and my church not having a real outreach. And when I say outreach, a missions-centered ministry. So when I moved to San Diego in my late 30s, I was on Facebook, and there was an ad for a missions trip to Cape Town, South Africa. And I didn't know the church. I heard of the church, but I didn't know of it. My church at the time had no mission outreach. So I reached out to the leader, which was Tim Neisler, and let him know I'm from a different assembly. And he said, come on, join us. But I know that was God that allowed me to see that ad, because I was searching for something deeper. I really had a love for missions. As I walk the streets in San Diego and I see the streets lined with tents, and at times I'd be out there by myself, just, reaching out to women that I see walking on their own with their baskets, and I'd ask them what they would like, and they'd tell me just socks. They didn't ask for food or anything. They just want socks. So I would go and purchase socks and bring socks to these women, and I'd build a relationship with them and begin to communicate with them. Every Sunday after church, I'd go back to the location where they were. But so that's me in a nutshell. What pretty much brought me from being a PK's kid to wanting a deeper connection with the world around me, and encouraging them for Christ.
Yeah, amazing, Audrey. And I remember meeting you the first time on that. It was actually a Prisoners of Hope mission trip with the Rock Church.
Yes.
It was fantastic to see just the passion and obviously the exposure that you got here to the message. And then when you came back a couple of years later, you brought with you this handsome man that I met for the first time in prison again. But maybe James, just tell us a little bit about your own story, your own testimony, please.
Yeah, I'm a native, as you guys said, of Apopka, Florida. It's really just outside, a couple miles outside of Orlando. So I just tell people Orlando because that's an easy landmark. But I was raised in the church. I was raised Seventh Day Adventist. So I was kind of brought up in the ways of the Lord, kind of like Audrey. My mom wasn't a pastor, but I grew up without my father. So there was a lot of uncertainty in life growing up as a teenager, with the streets pulling on you and a lot of things that was around me. But I just had a vision in my head of what I wanted to be, and I grew up not seeing that in the town that I was a part of. Luckily, I got an opportunity to do athletics to attend Liberty University, where I was introduced to head coach Sam Rutigliano. He was an ex-NFL head coach with the Cleveland Browns in the late 70s, early 80s. And he was a true man of God. He had his own story where he had a substance abuse issue that he was dealing with, had a car accident by driving, under the influence, and his daughter passed away. And that shift, is what kind of propelled him into a relationship with God. And that actually was what changed my life. So while at Liberty University, that was my first time looking at a man walk out his life, serving God. He can get on you, he can discipline you, but it was no cuss word. So I'm like, okay, that's not where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Every other word is beep, 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 beep. So to hear someone discipline me, to hear someone pour into me with the love of God, it gave me a different perspective. When I was still doing, having struggles in my class, his daughter also went to school here. So he made his daughter tutor me. So he was getting an update report coming home. So those are the things that kind of solidified me and allowed me to see God in a different way. And then after Liberty University, obviously I got an opportunity to go into the NFL. And all the time I was as a young guy in the NFL, the first 2 or 3 years, I've always had that relationship with God, but I haven't always held on to his hand. I just thank God that he never let go of mine.
Wow.
And so for me to be able to come full circle and to get back to a place where I realized that, okay, God, you gave me this platform. I got children now that's looking up to me. And so the best thing that I can do is to try to live a lifestyle that they see, not me telling them what to do, but they see me walking, they see me serving God, they see me, in church. And so I began to look outward and not inward. Everybody is, at the NFL level, everybody want to put you on a pedestal, and they want to think that, because you got a, emblem on the side of your helmet that you're this great thing. But they don't realize that most guys in those professional sports are suffering in silence. And so I realized that, okay, hey man, there's ministry inside this locker room, but my greatest ministry is going to be beyond the locker room. And so that's where Audrey and I at right now is to make sure that I'm doing ministry beyond the locker room. There's a lot of guys that need counseling. There's a lot of youth that's growing up in this day and age with identity crisis. Want to, wake up in the morning, they can choose, what they want to identify as, and that's not God's heart. God created them with a divine purpose. He created them with a purpose and a destiny in the earth that He wants them to accomplish. And I think it's our job and it's your job to allow these guys to fulfill that potential. So I'm excited about the Message Trust. I love my time there in South Africa. Audrey felt like she had to twist my arm to get to South Africa, but it was always on my bucket list. And once we got an opportunity to get away, I'm grateful that she pushed and insisted that I South Africa because, we almost bought a house and moved there. If we didn't have kids in the state, be in South Africa more often, man. So that's my story, man. God has been good to me, and I'm just trying to pay it forward and show His love in every corner of the earth that I can have influence in.
Sure. Thanks, James. That's amazing. And yeah, we're looking forward to your next visit. You're welcome any time. You don't have to have a house though here. You can just come. Sean will gladly have you stay. He wants to talk NFL. So, but maybe Audrey, reflecting on that time here when you came to Cape Town the first time and the times you've been back, what was it that resonated with your heart for missions in the work that you did here with us in Cape Town? What were some of the things, some of the highlights and some things that really God did in your heart during your time here in Cape Town?
First off, it was just being with the team, that team camaraderie, and just doing life in that little house that we were in. And Tim, you came and visited us a couple mornings and spoke. Just being around different people and doing life with different people and learning to show the love of God amongst people that are believers. It was tough at times in that house, but we realized that if we can't show the love of God with those who are in the household of faith, how will we be able to spread it abroad? So that was a big lesson for us right there in that house. It was over 20 of us there in that house living together, never lived together before. Some of us complete strangers, but one mission, and that was to share Christ to a lost and dying world. So it was transformative just being in that house in itself. And then each day going out into the communities. I visited a couple homes for children with disabilities, HIV and AIDS, and just seeing the joy on their hearts. And it's, I can say it, we often take things for granted. When we see kids in poverty who can still smile, who can still love and hug on other people. It just broke my heart to see how they just gravitated towards me and the other rest of the team. It was just a blessing. And even walking in the neighborhoods, seeing the poverty, but they lived as though they lacked nothing. And that was just so beautiful to me. And they were open to the word of God. It seems like when people have everything, they feel like they don't need God. So just being in those communities and seeing these young people and adults who had a need, not for things, but just to be loved for who they are. And it was just so easy to share Christ with them, to sit in their homes and to share Christ and to love on them. Also, a great highlight, of course, was going to the prison. The prison itself, oh my goodness, these young men, so disciplined, more disciplined, I'd say sometimes than when I see my own kids. The way they make their beds in the morning, they fold up their little, I guess it was some type of pillowcase. I don't know what it was, but they folded up so neatly on their bed. The cleanliness of their rooms, their cells, and it was just so beautiful, the discipline. And I'm sure James can agree, the choir that sang in the prison, it was angelic. That's something that James and I share often, that angelic men's choir. So those are some of the highlights. And of course, just walking through the neighborhoods. And of course, when we came back the second time, our dear friend MT was able to take us on a tour of all the wonderful places, historic places in Cape Town. And we learned so much, and we applaud him for what he's doing, because when I first came to Cape Town, he was one that was still in prison, and to see how far he has come is just blessed my heart. And to be able to support him and taking that tour, it just blessed my heart. And I feel like Cape Town is home. And I don't think it's by mistake or chance that God allowed me to take part in the Prisoners of Hope at that time.
Oh, thanks, Audrey. Those are special memories. And
Yes.
Actually, I thought you'd be interested to know that I think that where you were staying was close to the Pelican Park community, and you did ministry in that area. We're about to do another outreach into that community, the same places where you walk the streets.
Nice.
Actually, this next month, we've got a whole big evangelism outreach amongst the young people there, one of the communities that is very dear to us as well. So the work continues as it was. I was in
Amen.
prison again
Amen.
this past week, and the work continues. And James, I think to just wrap up this section, you know, our theme is champions. This is the champions event, and obviously people will look to you as someone who's had success in the sports athletics arena and your life, and they'll say there's a champion. But what does it really mean to you to be a champion? What does that word really mean?
I mean, you know, champion is a loaded word. I agree, you know, and I think that most people, when you talk about champion, you're talking about someone that's, you know, kind of standing on the hill, holding a trophy, and, you know, I've accomplished something. But for me, you know, that true champion is we have to look to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you know, to be able to come into the earth, to be able to endure everything that he was able to endure. You know, betrayal by friends, you know, being talked about, you know, in this social media age, you know, people go crazy when people are talking against their character and thinking that they have to defend themselves. But I love the gospel always talks about Jesus said not a word. He didn't respond to lies. And so I think a true champion is to be focused and understand what's your divine purpose here in the earth. And that divine purpose for Jesus was to leave this place a better place so that we can have victory in every area of life because he paid the ultimate price for our life. So as a man of God, to be a champion in my household, that means my wife got to have a countenance about her when she's not around me, because for people to know that, okay, she's being treated right. You know, she's being loved. She's not being beat on. She's not being hit on. You know what I'm saying? And that she has a man that's covering her, not only as her protector, but as the priest in the home. Being a champion as a father is my kids seeing their dad walk and just following my footsteps. You know, I've been able to share words of encouragement with them, do devotions with them, you know, worship and see them serve in church. Not because I'm telling them to, but because their heart is designed to say, okay, we want to get involved, and we want God to be able to use our life too. So for me, being a champion is really running a race that's worthy of God saying, you know, at the end of life, you know, well done, thy good and faithful servant. I want to be a faithful servant of God. I don't always get everything right. You know, I don't you know, try to say that, you know, hey, I got the magic. I took that magic pill and my life is, you know, on that straight and narrow. You know, I get mad, I get upset. You know what I'm saying? I have opportunities to lash out and do things that's difficult to God. But at the other on the other end of that, I have a responsibility to respond like Christ. I have a greater responsibility to honor God with my actions and things like that. And so the world is going to ditch us some clothes. The world is going to, you know, always going to be in South Florida. There's always going to be rain, you know, and storms that blow our way. But we got to realize that every storm runs out of rain. You know, every cloudy day, you know, the sun will shine again. And a champion will be standing when the clouds disappear and the sun starts shining again. The champion will still be standing because they're not standing on their own effort. They're standing because they have an advocate sitting on the throne that they are trusting and they have faith in. And so when you have faith in Christ and you're walking with him and you're trusting him, you know, to supply all your needs and to be able to strengthen you in tough times, then when you're standing at the end of the day and where the rubber meets the road, your heart is at peace. You're at peace within yourself. And man, what greater joy is it to be at peace? You know what I'm saying? I've had, you know, bigger houses than the one that we're living in, millions of dollars and all that stuff right there. But none of the millions or anything like that was happiness. And when God was able to make me content with a lot, because I grew up with very little, then I found that place of happiness to be able to say, you know what, God, you know, the money didn't make me, the fame didn't make me. What really made me was I found myself in you. I found myself in a place that my life is to be lived beyond the locker room. and not in a manner where I just hoard it in this little corner and say, okay, hey, I got what I needed. You know what I'm saying? You know, I hope y'all get happy. I hope y'all get success. No. We're as Christians, as champions for Christ, we're called to reach down and pull some other people up, you know, and share the same love of God that we've received with them so that they can have their own relationship. So that's what I believe.
Amazing. Thank you, James. That was amazing. We really appreciate it. And thank James and Audrey for your time, but also the fact that you're champions for the message. We appreciate what you're doing as supporters and prayer partners with us here. We look forward to seeing you this side again. We look forward to seeing you that side at some point in the future. But yeah, thanks once again, and we really do appreciate your time. God bless you guys.
God bless you guys too. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you, Sean and Tim.
Yes, guys.
Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. Wouldn't you agree?
Phenomenal.
I thought
Yeah,
that was just. I'm just so encouraged even by everything that James and Audrey were sharing. It was a great reminder to reflect again. You know, go back and remember what God has done, even in the life of MT. That's the name that came up.
Yeah.
And he is really one, you know, that was part of the problem, but is now part of the solution. And we're going to give you a chance now to move a bit, because you've probably been sitting for quite a while. And so the next song that's going to come up, Tim spoke about a creative mission team earlier, Kinetic IV. They are a part of our Higher Collective, and they were actually the first band we had here in South Africa. So they have a song called Shakuma, which means move. So if you'll move with us, enjoy.
Sam, Dona yam sukuma, it's time we started moving up, span Sam. Shuguma, kuluma, nentanga zame pinduka bokuluva, bogasa. Never let any minute of life slip by. Stay away from the leeches and negative vibes. Bigger, sometimes you feeling not fit to fight. We saw you simply, some made you survive. No matter where you're from, just keep on going. Know what you want, can nobody hold you down. Go from the ground up, you already know it. Keep going, keep going. No matter where you're from, just keep on going. Know what you want, can nobody hold you down. Go from the ground up, you already know it. Keep going, keep going. I don't wanna waste no time using, losing. I just wanna change my life. Moving, I'm moving. I don't wanna waste no time using, losing. I just wanna change my life. Moving, I'm moving.
Just spun some. Look at me, another boy couldn't land it in the streets. Thinking like I used to have dreams. Instead I never thought I'd take the leap. But there's another place I gotta be. Everybody got a life, they gotta lead. Keep it moving, keep it suing, keep it lit, paraffin. Keep going till you're blowing up gasoline.
No matter where I'm from, I know where I'm going. I know what I want, can nobody hold me down. Go from the ground up, you already know it. I keep going, I keep going. No matter where I'm from, I know where I'm going. I know what I want, can nobody hold me down. Go from the ground up, you already know it. I keep going, I keep going. I don't wanna waste no time using, losing. I just wanna change my life. Moving, I'm moving. I don't wanna waste no time using, losing. I just wanna change my life. Moving, I'm moving. Hey, keep going. Kubekela phambili, even though feeling like for me. Keep going. Kubekela phambili. Shuguma, keep going. Kubekela phambili, even though feeling like for me. Keep going. Kubekela phambili. Shuguma, let's go. Oh, 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 oh.
just wanna change your life. Moving, get moving, get moving.
Oh wow, I hope that song got you moving. That was Kanelik IV, and that song again is called Shakuma. And thank you so much for taking part in this evening's event. Also, thank you for commenting. I see that a few messages have come through. So I'm going to throw this question to you, Tim. This comes from Jonathan Peltz, and he says, when's the next trip that anyone can come to SA and be part of?
Yeah, great question. I think the one that Audrey mentioned was obviously organized by a specific church who contacted us, and we set up a program for them, so we can do it that way if it's a church group. But we also like to host, I think it works really well, individuals or couples or very small groups. We just had a couple here from the States, and we gave them real immersion 5 days into everything we do as the message, and then they went on safari and they sent me photos of cheetahs and lions that they're seeing. So we can also do it that way, and sometimes that's a great way of engaging in mission and ministry as well. So if there's interest, contact us. We'd love to host visitors. Now there's no more COVID. It makes it possible.
Yeah, it does. And I want to agree with them. It was a great way. We just had a couple here and they fell in love with everything we've done, just as James and Audrey has. And if anything encouraged you in what James shared or Audrey shared, you want to put a comment down, you can do so. And we will definitely be answering from this platform. But we want to come to the part of the evening as to why we are here, Tim. And so maybe I can pass to you.
Yeah, I think we're drawing into land now, and with the specific focus on our community transformation and community hubs strategy. And the reason why we're focusing on this, just over a year ago, we ran our first online, about 18 months ago, online presentation specifically geared towards our partners and friends in the States, but obviously open to anybody. And we focused on one community called Nyanga. Nyanga is known as the murder capital of Cape Town. It's a tough neighborhood, but we have a hub right in the center of that community. And through the support of this event last year and through some great partnerships, we were able to put in a new classroom and expand the impact of that hub, even during COVID. And now post-COVID, we're seeing the work in the communities are needier than ever before. Young people are facing all kinds of challenges that we know, not only living in poverty, but and areas where the education is tough, but also mental health challenges, and we're hearing of suicide and things like that. So more than ever, we need partnership to invest in the lives of these young people. So we want to show you an updated video, a few minutes of just digging deeper into our community hubs, our community transformation strategy, so you can see what's happening on the ground with our teams in Cape Town.
Eden was launched in Salt River in 2014 in partnership with Jubilee Community Church. The vision was to mobilize a team of volunteers who will live long-term in the community in order to demonstrate the kingdom of God in word and action. The decision was then made to contextualize Eden and as we still wanted to replicate the model, but we realized that it wasn't really practical in Cape Town, hence the Community Transformation Department was birthed. Apart from Eden Salt River that is still going, we have launched 2 community hubs in Parkwood and Nyanga respectively. Each hub consists of a hub leader and a missional team and is supported by the operations team from the office.
At the present time, those communities are ridden with gangsterism, drug addiction, alcohol abuse, a high unemployment rate and a high dropout rate for kids in primary school even. And our approach is to eradicate that and to reduce that through our educational programs, our discipleship programs, as well as our recreational activities.
My name is Tandis Senimbetra from Nyanga. I'm the Nyanga Hub leader. So what I do personally is to tutor, coach, discipleship and also missional team gathering.
Hi, my name is Clinton Lakers. I work for the Message Trust. I'm the hub leader in the area of Parkwood. So my role there is to oversee the day-to-day runnings of the hub and make sure that we implement missional programs that impacts the lives of the kids that we work with. We're working with 15 kids, and our plan is to disciple them and to help them transform or transition where they become emerging leaders in the community.
How we do this is we describe the approach that we take with 3 words, and that's identify, platform and mission. And with Identifies, what we do is we identify youth at risk and we present them with the gospel. With Platform is we create a safe space for them to grow and flourish with their education, with discipleship in their spiritual walk, and also offering them an opportunity to engage in recreational activities. And then the third thing is mission. What we do is our desire is to actually get them on mission for Christ, get them involved in community with the desire of feeding back into their local communities.
The missional programs that are done in Parkwood is presented by a creative mission team, and they are part of obviously of the Message Trust. The programs that are running are Genetics and Respect Me. We also have a Gang to Star, which is a crime prevention program that is being presented on an ongoing basis, as well as amazing programs which includes from partners like One Hope. We also have our cycling club on Fridays where they are taught the rules of the road, but also how to take care of bicycles as part of their positions and just accountability and responsibility.
So the cycling, because of the boys seeing a lot of negativity when these boys wake up and because of the challenges that the community faces, and all they see is abuse, the abuse of they see substance abuse, they see women being abused, everything they see is negative. And so what we do is we take them on rides every Friday on the bicycles. But the rides that we ride with them in the area is to practice, because every 3 months we'll take them out of the community of Parkwood.
So our Nyanga Hub has 3 aspects. They address all the elements of the approach that we take, which is the educational discipleship as well as recreational. At the present time, they've got a soccer club that they've adopted, named Puhla FC, and the programs are running quite effectively. The hub leader there, Antti, is very passionate about the educational aspect of it.
One of my dreams for the community is just to gather all institutions of this community to work together, contending for transformation. So we've been working with the schools, trying to improve pass rates in schools and also reduce the dropout rate that is in our areas, for a high percentage of our young people are dropping out. So we've seen that side, even in football, having that influence, because we have a registered team in the local LFA, which is local football within the community, and we've become that force of influence within the sphere of football. We're just building discipleship and character building through football. So we've seen the hub making influence within the broader community of Nyanga.
So we have a vision to see these community hubs all across South Africa. Since we've seen the impact of these hubs in the communities that we currently work in, we truly believe that the impact can be seen all across all contexts of communities that we have across South Africa. The only way that we can achieve that, though, is through partnership, through us working together, collaborating with different organizations, different businesses, them seeing the vision and entrusting us with carrying out this vision with the local churches. And the vision is to empower the local church to reach their communities.
I hope you're encouraged by that video. And as you see on screen now, 2 has become 3. And they say 3 is a crowd. And we wanted to invite our friend Enrico. You saw him on the video, and he's actually the Community Transformation Manager. And so Enrico, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, that's great. You want to stand up too?
Hi everybody, it's good to be here with you.
And Enrico, I've got 2 questions for you. So we know that you've got a heart for community transformation. Why are you so passionate about this?
So I think ever since I've gotten saved, I've really been passionate about young people. As a young person, I felt I lost my way. And one of the things that really kept me grounded was sports. It really offered me a place where I could, just be myself. I didn't have any pressure from any external forces trying to guide me on the wrong way. All I needed to do was be myself in the midst of the sport. And I think idea of community transformation actually provides that space. And I've become sold out about the approach that we take in terms of discipleship and education, and especially with the recreational activities. It really is an amazing opportunity and really creates a great platform for young people to actually thrive. And I think the sports and recreation really gives us a platform to actually share and reach young people. So really sold out about it.
Yeah, that was brilliant. It was brilliant to see on that video, Pushla FC, and to see how well Kanti, I know Tim is going to say something about Kanti later, if I'm not mistaken.
Might do.
You might do.
I will do now.
You will do now. Okay, there we go. Bring it in there. But that was great to see, and it was great that you've had that experience with sport, and seeing how important it is to have something that's attractional that can actually get into the life of young people. Now, we've seen some of what is happening. What does the future look like for community transformation?
Well, ideally, we'd like to see what's happening in Nyanga and Parkwood, across Cape Town, across South Africa. We've got a lot of communities that are really struggling, especially with the issues that Tim's mentioned earlier, gangsterism, drug addiction, people struggling with emotional issues and psychological issues. So it's really, I see this as us having the opportunity to actually reach those people who otherwise wouldn't be reached, empowering the local church to reach their communities. And I really believe that when our churches actually unite, when they work together, we actually create a better opportunity for us to reach our communities, to actually be successful in the visions that we have for reaching our communities. So I see this all across South Africa, see these hubs really impacting communities and transforming communities, us raising urban heroes, those kids who would otherwise not have been reached, being the solution to what their communities are seeing as their struggles.
That's amazing. Thanks, Enrico. And I think, the picture paints 1,000 words. You saw on the screen the joy it can bring the young people just through the interaction that we're having with them. Sean mentioned Kanti, who you saw on the screen. Kanti actually was one of our beneficiaries at the age of 13, 14. He joined the team there in Nyanga, the soccer team, and he went through the whole program. And he's such a solid young man who is now living in that community as a leader, and he's leading our hub there, part of the Message Trust. And that is, again, the definition of a champion. He could be pursuing his own goals, his own dreams, but actually his heart is so much for that community. It's the same with Clint, same with these gents that I get to do a life with, and Annalise and the team and the people that you saw on the screen, really doing phenomenal work here in Cape Town. So this is an invitation. It's an invitation for you to join us as one of our champions, raising up champions. We have, over this past couple of years, we all know it's been difficult. We know it's difficult around the world in these financial times. Under COVID, the community hubs lost some of their financial support. And so we've been trying to find ways to raise that support again so we can continue to grow. As Enrico said, there are new opportunities. We're looking at another hub in Cape Town, and Sean and I are going up to Johannesburg, where we've also been invited to open up a community hub. So we want to strengthen our existing hubs and also to grow this network of community hubs across the country. We have a 501c3, the Message USA, that is about raising up champions and supporting around the world. And in discussion with our board there in the United States, we really wanted to focus on this opportunity to support these hubs. So we've got some more information. It's going to come up on the screen. If you're part of one of the watch parties, your host will be able to send you this. If you send us your details, we'll be able to send it to you as well to give you a little bit more of an information. Currently, our hubs, we go deep with 80 young people daily at the hubs. We impact other students in schools, but we also impact the whole community, thousands on a yearly basis, the parents and the events that we run. But really to support those young people, each young person to come to the hub costs us, we've worked out about $30 a month. So that's really our challenge, that rather than asking you for thousands, although if you've got it, we're not going to refuse it, but if you can support, on a monthly basis, the equivalent of one child to come through the program, what is that? That's 2 bags of coffee on a monthly basis. That great coffee that you've had in your homes, if you're one of our watch parties, to give the equivalent of a couple of bags of coffee a month to support monthly. That would make a huge difference for us if we didn't here in Cape Town.
And so, please, I'm going to encourage you, still send through comments. If you want to know about us, definitely, please do. You still have time on the link. When this is not live anymore, there's still an opportunity for you to reach out to us on the link. But we were so grateful to have you with us this evening. We want to thank all our hosts for having.
Actually, talking of one of our hosts,
Oh,
our centre question, our good friend Jonathan. As I've mentioned, he's got his watch party there in Florida, I believe. Hi, Jonathan. And he's on the board of our Message USA. And one of the things we'll be doing now again is I'll be coming over to the States next year as well. If you're in the US and would like to connect with me personally as well, you can contact us to find out more. We're wanting to do coffee events, and we're even looking at potentially Gangstar Coffee as a means to raise funds in the States. So if you want to know more about Gangstar Coffee or anything else that we're doing, please hone in and support our community hubs now, but there's huge opportunities in the future. And also just to mention, if you're not in the States, I know we've kind of geared this because it's been hosted by our Message USA partners. If you want to know how you can support and you're watching this in another part of the world, please just put a note on the YouTube channel or send us a message through our website, message.org.za, and we'd also be able to send you information about how you can also support wherever you're at.
Oh, definitely. We'll also try to put all that information into the chat for you so that you can reach us that way. But again, thank you so much for all of you being a part of tonight. It was really, really great being in your company. Thank you so much again to James and Audrey. I hope you're still on the video. But yeah, what a great encouragement that was. And if you were encouraged by that again, I would love for you to send them even an encouragement. You know, they are champions for the message in the US, and you can now become a part of that, amazing bunch called Champions for us. So we're looking forward to that. But thank you again, all the hosts. I want to say this: you have been amazing. If you are tuned in live, thank you. If you are hosting this at a later stage, thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. But we're going to close with an amazing song now. This is a song that was actually written by Tim Tucker's wife, Christina, and you will see why he married her. Because, this is an amazing song. So thank you again. We appreciate being with you. So that's goodbye from us.
That's it. Goodbye from us. Enjoy the rest of your time together wherever you're watching this. Good job.
To be free, you choose to carry shame, make yourself feel no pain, and the world says it's okay. But I hear your heart screaming out so loud, come and give me peace. Anyway, so heavy, your shore is deadly. Yes, you need some peace. Even though you're with me, can you hear me? And believe me when I show you that there's a way. And even though there's memories and there's heartache, you will not break. There's a strong man that holds your hand. You're told that you're the strong one, but you think that it's a joke. If only they could see your scars and the silence that it holds. But I hear your heart screaming out so loud, come and give me peace. Anyway, so heavy, your shore is deadly. Yes, you need some peace. Even though you're with me, can you hear me? And believe me when I show you that there's a way. memories and this heartache, you will not break. There's a strong man that holds your heart. And even though you're with me, can you hear me? And believe me when I show you that there's a way. And even though there's memories and there's heartache, you will not break. There's a strong man that holds your heart. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're tearing apart, no, don't know where to start, no. Pick up your love, yeah, and give it to God, no. You're tearing apart, no, don't know where to start, no. Pick up your love.